I should have been the one to feel your deck so alive. Jackpot. Yeah, some new animes coming out. Looks so great. I have to make some new artwork for this. I really love Devil May Cry. I played Devil May Cry 5. Played most of Devil May Cry 3. And I've watched a lot of it. I played like half of Devil May Cry 4. I need to finish that one still. But it's so fun. I love those games. And this new animes looking great. These music, the new is like 2000 style music for that. That's so good. But anyways, getting on to making this artwork. Okay, so ideas. Thumbnails help a lot to make sure you're making it correct or the best drawing that you can make at the moment. Because you might think, like, that was my first idea. So of all these poses, I ended up taking this one. And that's one I kind of liked the most because it felt the most like Dante. And I quite like this one, but I think I'd rather do that with a different character and not Dante. Yeah, these are my thumbnail drawings. That's really cool and menacing. Feels less like Dante. Feels more serious. Dante, I feel, feels a lot more relaxed. You know, joking and not serious. So I went with this one. Then on to the next stage. Now I'll just play the time lapse. So, pausing here, I really struggled for a little bit of like what hues to go with. I was playing around with the multiply layer and setting up a dark blue purplish shadow and trying to get the right hue for the light side and the right hue and shade and like darkness to the shadow section. And oh yeah, I was trying that in the multiply layer, and I was kind of like, I don't know. And then what helped was I stopped and like thought about just a bit of like color theory, like what way the light would be during then, and then so I shifted down the shadows towards away from the light source towards. Basically, I thought about the color theory a little bit more before going ahead. I skipped the multiply layer and I just did it on a normal layer. I just tried to think about what color the light source would be and what color the shade would be. And then after thinking about that, I eventually got to this result and I'm pretty happy with that. And I'll let the time lapse play again. I'll stop again during the jacket. Now, pausing again for the jacket. I was so happy with how this looked. I'm not usually that good at doing making materials look a bit more believable, or clothes. Clothes are particularly hard for me. But I was looking at some references for some stuff, like, and during doing the jacket, what I mainly tried to do was add in the little details of like, I don't know what it's called, but I always forget the name. It's maybe ambient occlusion, or it's like the part where light doesn't get to the gaps, and it's like the darkest parts, and especially on clothes materials, the lines of stitching and stuff like that, those can be like some of the darkest areas, or even getting in those details will make the clothes a lot more believable. And then getting the volume shading and stuff like that, that'll help. And it's all like leather's a bit more reflective, so I added a bit more highlighted parts and like sort of increased the saturation in those areas, and added little details that I didn't have in my sketch of the, what would you call it, the zipper, the zipper part. I added in the little zipper part with the just during the curling section. It's kind of really cool to be able to just paint in the details without a sketch. It's cool when you can do that sometimes. And I painted in the kind of, and I don't know the words for these. It's like the lock thing on like a belt. You know what that's called? I have no idea what that's called. But basically, on the straps of his jacket, added them. What was great is that I had recently bought a cosplay of Dante's jacket for a cosplay, and I could look at that for a reference, and that really helped. And I added in little details. It's kind of, I think I'm going towards more Devil May Cry 5 kind of jacket. I kind of like that one. The old one's cool too, but I like the more, I don't know, modernized. Is it modernized? Who knows? But yeah, adding in all the like little line details in the leather pants as well, and in the belt. I quite like how the belt looked. Just those details. I was quite happy with how I was really happy with how the jacket looked. And yeah, move on to the next part, and come back to you at the sword section. Okay, so this part, it's mostly very close to being done. I just haven't done the hair and maybe cleaned it up a little bit. But during this part, again, I was very happy with how the sword ended up. It was a bit difficult because I'm thinking about most like swords when I'm going about trying to do the reflection kind of part. Dante's sword is a bit more matte. I think it's like less reflective. So, and I really wanted to put in one of the enemy types that comes in during Devil May Cry 3 and attacks him, and I wanted to put that in the sword because I thought it was cool. Because I imagine when he's eating this pizza in the scene, he's being interrupted annoyingly, and he just wants to relax. Like Devil May Cry 3. I don't know if he maybe he was eating the pizza then, or it could have been Devil May Cry 1. It was hard because like I saw a lot of reflections for swords. They have like really crystal clear details, and like it's as if that's I guess how reflections will work, but as if the scene is mirrored. Whatever is going on in the front, like not the angle that you're looking at, would be almost exactly put onto the sword, and then maybe a little bit faded, but I made it so that this reflection was a lot more. It's as if like the opacity is like drawn out and kind of matter faded off on both sides, and like I did the selection tool and cut half between the two edges of the sword to kind of like shift the perspectives on both sides to make it look like it was kind of, although maybe you wouldn't even see the, that part on the right side, but to kind of showed a different perspective from that. And I added like this kind of like red glow at the bottom. I thought was nice, and I wanted to add in the magic circle that traps you in when enemies enter into during the game. I wanted to add that into the sword, and I thought a little bit of red makes it look cooler too. And then I get to add in the red glow on the bottom, on a lot of the shadow area and the bottom right side. And then the pizza. I was really excited to draw the pizza, to render pizza, because I don't know, it looks delicious, I guess. Yeah, I looked up some references for this, and I was very happy how that turned out too. Not too complicated how I did that, just light and shadow parts and shifting the hue a little bit and making sure it's like sort of saturated enough, because if it's a bit too desaturated, it kind of doesn't really look like pizza. I think pizza is generally a lot more saturated, otherwise it kind of looks ugly. And I added this bit, I don't know if it's too visible, but a little bit of a string of cheese coming off. I guess I don't know if he would have bit into it yet. Okay, so that's it. It's finally done. Overall, I'm really happy how it turned out. I think it looks really cool. I think it's one of my favorite pieces so far, and I'm really happy because I really love Devil May Cry, and I really want to be able to make artwork that looks, looks great. Added in a bit more red glows into the hand areas, the cheek, and I finished up the hair, redrew the hair too. I kind of planned that all along. It was more like a rough draft, and I redid it. And the style I kind of went with was like the anime style that they're doing. I think it looks cool, and especially when I'm making this art piece, because the anime is coming out, I think it fits also. Yeah, and then I added in the guns at the last second, which I think it really helps. I always really planned on doing it, but I just didn't really like sketch it out. And I just kind of like painted it, really. I think it looks pretty good too. So overall, very happy with this. I hope you enjoy it. And hopefully this new anime is great as well. I'm excited about it. All the music is great. And it's going to be out in a couple of days. By the time I upload, it's probably out. But yeah, thanks for watching. See you next time.